When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. This is Fallout: The Rising Sun, Part 4. Let's continue where we last left off in our story. As we continue our story, with Ren, Victor, and the small group of white tigers back in the hotel room while Yang is investigating the main building of the hotel. As Ren watches her brother go investigate the main building of the hotel, after the large colony of death butterflies made themselves known by flying into the main building, of course, like her idiot brother always does. He was always too curious for his own good. Ren was about to look away from the window when she saw a group of people enter the complex of the hotel. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. Let's try this again without any interruptions. It was my fault for not putting on no disturb before the recording, but that's not really important. Let's continue. Ren was about to look away from the window when she saw complete strangers walk into the complex of the hotel. The front woman stuck out. She had short brunette hair, reaching all the way down to the bottom of her neck, wearing a black combat suit. Over that, she's wearing, she's wearing a combat suit, armor-wise. But the black suit she has over it is more like a mixture between a black fly suit, a fly suit that you would wear if you're going to take off in a jet. Over that, she has a green combat suit. Well, green combat armor. Yeah, basically she's wearing a suit and she has the armor over it. With green. In the middle of the chest plate, there's a symbol of the Brotherhood. And right behind her is 3 other Brotherhood. Their gender is unrecognizable because they're currently wearing power armor, wielding laser minigun, a laser minigun basically what they're wielding. Eventually, she saw the woman begin to follow her brother. That's when the rest of the Brotherhood immediately opened fire upon all the hotel rooms. As they continue to shoot off into the hotel, several buildings that scattered around the hotel complex, trying to flush them out. The Brotherhood, the member of the Brotherhood, walked past one of her men, or one of her subordinates. You have your orders. Flush them out. As she watches her men, who's under her command, unleash their laser miniguns upon the small buildings, trying to flush them out, while she turned her back and began to walk towards the main building to deal with the leader of the White Tigers. If he won't give her what she wants, then she'll just neutralize a future problem. She's no fool. She knows exactly what type of man Yang is, and he's definitely a threat. Not now, but he can be in the future. And she'll rather nip that in the butt. Last thing she needs to deal with is an angry commander, her superior. The Brotherhood of Steel in the power armor eventually flushed them out using their laser miniguns. They were clearly outgunned. Rin decided to show no sign of resistance. They're dealing with power armor. She studied what pieces of power armor she could get her hands on in the vault, and she knows their current weaponry won't do jack shit to someone in power armor. So she followed their orders as they began to lead them into the main building. Rin saw her brother with a laser pistol pressed against his back. It worked, girls. The others have finally arrived. I heard reports of you traveling with a woman and a child. With your white tigers, I didn't quite believe it at first. Leave them out of it. They have nothing to do with this. On the contrary, little cub, kill them. Yang spin around and place his battle knife against her throat. You won't touch my sister. The woman seemed to be unbothered as she has a smirk on her face as she chuckled. Sister, you say? And this little one must be... He's too cute and adorable to be one of yours. Nephew, most likely. He grit his teeth. What of it? This could have been a whole lot easier for you and your little white tigers, but instead, accepting our generous offer that the Sisterhood of Steel gave you. Wait, I thought you were the Brotherhood of Steel. Casually moved his knife away from her throat with one of her fingers. I suppose I should give you a little history lesson, little cub. It is true. We were once part of the Brotherhood of Steel, but we splintered off because they didn't agree upon our methods. So naturally, they banished us. So we're no longer the Brotherhood of Steel. We are the Sisterhood of Steel, naturally. We killed off all male members after our departure, leaving only the female members alive. Our full name is, the full title is the Sisterhood of Steel, the Valkyrie branch. Now it's time to cut some loose ends, unfortunately. Without any warning, Knight, Sister April. Her rank is a knight. Not very high up at a Tatum pole, but she has her own power. Pulled out one of her pistols and shot all of the white tigers in the face with her magnum. You bitch, I'll kill you. As Zhang was restrained by one of the Sisterhoods of Steel in her power armor, pinning him to the ground. Sadly, that's not going to happen, little tiger. What should I do with you? With you and your sister, and nephew, of course. Naturally, I have no intention of killing you. 3, with my own hands. Why should I waste my effort on something so tedious when I have something that could do the job quite nicely in front of us? It would do the job quite nicely indeed. Throw them into the demon's mouth, and let the creatures inside finish them off for us. But take their weapons. We can't have them having much of a fighting chance. What about the swords, ma'am? Let them keep them. Well, at least give them some sort of fighting chance. And don't forget to bind them as well. You're going to regret this. So you finally speak up. I highly doubt that. I'm going to kill you. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day, I'm going to hunt you down and chop off your fucking head. Idle threats won't work on me. Do it. As the three of the rose fields will toss into the demon's mouth, while April will laugh as she watches them drop into the pit. The demon's mouth cave system was further down below, as the three of them fall into a body of water that was deep enough to submerge them inside the demon's mouth. The small pool of water wasn't deep enough to submerge nothing bigger than a human body. Not deep enough to have any bigger predators living comfortable inside the body of water. But with their hands shackled, it wasn't as easy as getting out of the water as they originally thought. But all three Rosefield finally got out of the water and laid on their back to catch their breath as they begin to breathe heavy. Can you be a dear son and do something about these restraints? Yang and Rin watch Victor get his pickpocket tools out of his pocket without using his hands, and proceed to put the pick-locking kit, in his mouth, and begin to use the pick in his mouth to unlock his mom's shackles. She immediately took the pick out of his mouth and began to unshackle her brother and her son. Her son first, then her brother. As the small shackles fell to the ground, mother hand back his tools, and he put it back in his kit and put it back in his pocket. I know you're angry, brother, losing people under your command, but we don't have time. We really not safe here. We're in a pretty hopeless situation. We're in a demon's mouth. Danger is clearly more intense down here. You're right, sister. I'll think about revenge later, but for now, our main priority is to get out of here. Only way we could go forward is either forward or backwards. Either way, we need to find an exit out of the demon's mouth as soon as possible before any of the local predators catch a scent of our presence here. And what weapons do we have? What exactly weapons do we have? My guns were confiscated. Only thing I have left is my melee weapon. She took that rifle I liked and only left me with my katana. My son didn't have any guns, so any weapons weren't taken away from him. What gear do we have? We have a limited amount of food, water in my backpack, alongside with a couple of flashlights and a very slim amount of ammunition, but we have no guns for the ammunition, so that's completely pointless at this point. The demon mouth might have these glowing red crystals, but they don't give enough light to illuminate the path before us. And I have no doubt this pool of water is most likely one of many water sources for all the wildlife in the demon's mouth. There might be similar pools of water like this deeper into the demon's mouth. This place is a completely unknown. It's never been explored, and that's for good reason, because no one comes back alive. But I don't plan for us to share that fate. Let's go. All of the three Rosefields pulled out their katana in their hands to begin to walk through the Demon's Mouth complex cave system in hopes to find an exit out of find one of the many exits that the Demon Mouth has across Japan. Despite her son's cool and collected composure, she could tell her son is quite scared. She could tell by the way he's looking around, trying to find danger over every corner. Just from his eye movements alone, she comforted her son and placed her hand on his shoulder. We'll get out of this. You won't die here. Neither will I or your uncle. We'll get out of here and we'll get to the mainland. This is just a temporary setback. Seeing her words did what she wanted, they passed on, continuing to travel through the Demon's Mouth. Yang was quite impressed by his nephew. Anyone else that was in his place would be freaking out of fear or paranoia. He can't imagine what sort of brutal training his sister put his nephew through. To have such composure in a high tense situation like this. But yet again, he's a Rosefield, and Rosefield has always been tough. And they always have been survivors. And he highly doubt that trait would end with his sister and himself. Victor, after all, is the future of the next generation of Rosefields. They instantly stop and hide behind a large boulder as they heard a loud roar from an unknown creature that echoed throughout the tunnels of the Demon's Mouth. The Rosefields saw several large ants that's able to organically generate poison-like acid and spit it out of their mouth. The three Rosefields stayed where they were until the large ants finally passed them, as they carefully and quietly began to go forward. What the hell is that? A giant ant, apparently. Don't know nothing about it. We're most likely going to come across mutated wildlife that we've never encountered before on the surface. Eventually, the narrow pathway of the Demon's Mouth led them into an emerging chamber filled with large spiders on the ceilings and spiderwebs everywhere, only leaving a very narrow pathway to travel through the other side of the room. Well, fuck me. As impressive big spiders are, you see that, brother, that narrow pathway between all the webbings on the ground? I noticed that as well. That's most likely how these strange ants, large ants, manage to get past the spiders. As the Rosefield family slowly begins to walk through the narrow pathway to avoid any of the spider webs, they all know if they alert any of the spiders, they're dead. Considering they're in the spider's nest. There was too many count of spiders in different range of sizes from large to small. The largest is about the size of a large van, and the medium-sized spiders are about the size of a car, and the baby spiders are more about the size of a small dog. Crawling all around the ceiling walls, right above the Rosefield family, was several large spider eggs, connected to the ceiling with spider webs, ready to be hatched. They weren't even halfway through the pathway until all hell broke loose. Several green and white super mutants engage each other inside the spider nest, causing all the spiders in the nest to act. Spiders begin to drop down one after another on the floor. God damn it. Goddamn super mutants. Yang growled and mumbled, but his sister heard him. Apparently, they come in multiple colors. As one of the medium-sized spiders landed right in front of Yang and Ren and Victor, giving out a large screech at his new prey. Both older Rosefields narrowed their eyes and charged at the large spider at the same time, while Victor was fighting off the small spiders with his short katana. The sharp, large spider leg was lashed outwards towards the two Rosefields, towards Ren and Yang. Ren redirected the sharp spider leg to the side with her katana, as sparks was created from that action, while Yang was in the middle of the air slicing off the leg of the spider. The spider gave out a painful screech. Ren and Yang took the chance while the spider was distracted by his pain from losing a limb, as the creature began to shake his limbs around wildly. As they finally acted, ready to give off the finishing blow. Both Rosefield siblings pierced their swords into the spider by accident, piercing right through his heart. Once they pulled out their swords and backed off, the spider began to twitch and roll on his back as his legs began to twitch around until the spider fell motionless, dead. Ren immediately kicked a baby spider out of the way and picked up her son as they began to run out of the large chamber, completely running past all of the carnage that's still going off in the chamber. The white super mutants and the green super mutants were too busy engulfed in their own battle to notice them or the spiders. Ren and Yang slid to a stop when they came upon a pathway that leads to four different tunnels that they could walk through. They had no idea what pathway to take, with no intel about the demon's mouth. They're walking in blind, so they took a random pathway and began to walk. The tunnel was beginning to increase in size, making the tunnel much more wider, eventually leading them to another chamber. But the chamber itself is pitch black, barely any light or any light source can be seen by the faint glows of the crystal down below, barely illuminating the path below them. Ren could barely see the tunnel on the other side of the room being illuminated by the low growing red crystals along the side of the wall as well, circling the entire chamber. In front of her is a rock pathway in the middle of the chamber. There are several different rock formations that resemble a bridge scattered all around the huge chamber of the endless pit. Be careful, it's probably a long way down. Falling down once wasn't all that fun, so I would rather not repeat it anytime soon. What do you think this place is? Judging by what I can see, this specific chamber is a sort of a pathway to connect into different types of tunnels into the demon's mouth. Because it's so dark, we don't know how deep it goes. Let's continue. Hopefully we can find a pathway closer to the surface. I agree on that. We've been very fortunate so far. They continued to cross the stone-like bridge into another tunnel. The tunnel finally led them to a large chamber that has a waterfall with some sort of military structure off to the right of the large chamber. On the left side of the chamber is a large pool of water that's connected to the underwater tunnel that connect to one of the water veins, giving fresh water to the wildlife in the demon's mouth continuously. What the hell? We're going to begin to walk towards the structure, resembling a military structure, surrounded by a concrete wall of sort, and a plaque in gold color, symbol of the Japanese government emblem, is on the wall. Do you recognize anything outside of being this some sort of underground secret facility? It's definitely pre-war. I agree. This is a military structure. It is quite well intact. Let's go inside. Agreed. Easily and slowly, they open the main gate to gain entry to the military structure or complex. The military structure is a singular building with 3 levels. At least that's what they can see. And suspects if this is some sort of military building, there must be basement levels as well. Push forward and walked into the pathway from the gate. They finally have a better view of the whole grounds. The walls encase the military structure completely. Barren dead grass could be seen. There are several pre-war military vehicles scattered all around, outside of the buildings. Ren noticed there is a smaller building to the right. Ren slowly approached the smaller building. Once Victor picked the lock, unlocking the door to the small building, they found themselves in some sort of office area with several pre-war computers, file cabinets, and an additional room that was attached to the building. Ren began to hack into the console terminal that's attached to the wall, right next to the thick metal doors, blocking the rest of the building off. It didn't take her long to get full access to the computer terminal. As the big metal blast door begins to slide open, revealing an armory filled with pre-war weaponry, uniforms, grenades, and other combat gear. Jackpot. I would have to agree, these are all pre-war weaponry, and they don't seem to be damaged, in really good condition. And I can see, and I know there's a lot of crates laying around, most likely filled with ammunition and other supplies. They walked back into the main office area of the building and pulled out one of the chairs from one of the mini desks in the room and took a load off. We should be safe here to get some rest for now. Good call. I'm getting tired and hungry. We should have enough food for a few days, along with our water supply, with the same amount of days. Who knows? We might find military rations in this building or the other one, the bigger one, if we must. I know we don't have time to breathe, Oh, now we have time to breathe. How are you doing, brother? Losing your own people is never a good feeling. I'm better now. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite furious, and I do plan to get payback. But for now, that I'm a lot more calmer. That I can think straight, I know what to do. I will deal with this Sisterhood of Steel at another time. Ying decided to go through one of the computers to see what little information he can get off of it. He clicked one of the files as a video file popped up of an older Japanese gentleman wearing a highly decorated uniform from the Japanese government. Commander class on the scruff of his neck. The collar of his uniform. This is Commander Lee. Video log 1. 3 weeks ago, we accidentally stumbled upon some sort of cave system. We didn't think much of it at the time. Then we started to lose men that was ordered to explore this cave system. They were overwhelmed by some white, naked men that had sharp claws. At first I thought the reports were idiotic, superstition, saying things that there weren't there. Cave systems tend to do that, play mind tricks on you. Then the second unit ventured into the cave system. They were torn to shreds. These monstrous sharp claws tore right through our military gear and weaponry. They moved so fast that we couldn't even get a shot off. They were fast and calculated. I heard from the higher-ups. They're planning to build some sort of research station inside this cave system. Inside one of the many large chambers inside this complex cave system, many of the egghead believes this cave system spreads across the entirety of Japan. Whatever those white abominations are, the higher-ups are clearly interested in them. As soon as the laboratory is finally done construction, I have an order to take that post to act as main security officer, considering the place is most likely going to be quite hostile. Clearly pissed someone off for forcing me into this sort of position, me, a commander, acting like a head security. It's insulting. I hope this research into these monsters are worth it. As the end of the video was cut, Yang clicked the next video as a similar face was seen on the screen. This is Commander Lee. Video log 2. I just arrived at the facility. The place is very ominous. Very ominous. I've already started to hear disturbing sounds and voices outside and in my head. This post must be getting to me, as there was a terrifying screech as the video log was cut off. Ren opened the next video log. This is Commander Lee. Video log 3. I can't believe these scientists, instead of cutting their losses, they're bunkering down. They actually brought one of these monsters inside the laboratory. It's madness, I say. They're going to kill us all. And I'm also suspicious of my own men, my own soldiers. I know they're plotting something against me. The voices told me so. They're trying to kill me. I won't let them. I'll kill them first. As the general stood up and took out his pistol out of his holster and immediately opened fire upon his own men, As the commander walks off the frame, as rifle and gunshot could be heard, video cut off. That was the last file. That was quite disturbing. I would have to agree with you there, brother. How they describe those white monsters is exactly the same description of the same creatures we encountered at the cabin. I would have to agree with you there. We could probably find more in the main military building. Agreed. They might even have parts of the Demon's Mouth mapped out in their files. We'll rest up, resupply from the armory, and investigate the laboratory. Agreed. A few hours later, the Rosefield finally ate, and shortly afterwards, they went to sleep to get some rest. After 7 hours of non-stop rest, the Rosefields got up. Yang started to walk towards the armory and get some much-needed weaponry for a little bit more of a fire, with a little more of a kick. Ren took a pistol with a silencer and an assault rifle. The silencer was her brother's suggestion, just in case. Yang took a pistol with a silencer and took an assault rifle alongside with a shotgun, with a few other items from the armory, a couple grenades, some extra ammunition, and some stim packs. After they were all geared up, Ren told her son to stay and don't leave the building. Victor had no problem obeying that order. He has that game on that holotape to keep him occupied. Now that he has actual working computers, he could play it on. Ren activated the Protectron as the robot activated and began to walk out of the charging center and began to walk around the office doing his patrols. Giving her son some extra protection, just in case any of the hostile wildlife found themselves inside the building when herself and her brother are gone. After giving her son a gentle smile, she took her leave with her brother, as well as Ren and Yang exit through the door, shutting the door quietly behind them, and made their way towards the main facility. After picking the lock, they let themselves inside the lobby area, with the first place they entered once they walked through the front door. To their surprise, this building is much like the building they were in, but their power is still on. I mean, this place is pretty old. It's amazing how this place still has power. If this place has been untouched for so long, realistically, the power should have been cut a long time ago. You gotta put an account of what type of power source they're using to run this place. Normally, you would find abandoned pre-war buildings be run by a power cell. But I've also seen other buildings rely on something else entirely. You're not wrong there, brother. It's fascinating. The place is quite fascinating. Let's start taking a look around. As Ren and Yang took point and began to walk through the first door that they noticed was unlocked. Many doors were still locked. They can't get access to it until they go further into the building. The first room they entered was filled with desks, computers, nothing out of the ordinary. After they looked through the files on the computer, they didn't find much status reports, shipment files, and incident reports. The normal boring stuff you would find in a military database. As they went through the exit out of the room, as they found themselves in more of a they found themselves in a short hallway leading to another room, to a large area for relaxing. Ren saw a pool table in the middle of the room. The bodies on the floor begin to move and get up onto their feet, revealing themselves to be feral ghouls. Ren and Yang took out their silencer or pistols with silencers attached to it and opened fire, killing the ghouls without alerting any of the nearby ghouls in the building. That was definitely a good idea to attach these silencers to these guns. Yeah, stop inflating your ego. Let's get moving, brother. Yang followed his sister across the room, keeping a cautious eye out, just for more surprises. If there's 2 feral ghouls in this building, then there's probably more. And that's where we're gonna cut it. I hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.